Hey everybody, Longhorn Whistler here, and today we are going to be installing Windows Millennium in VMware Workstation. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new virtual machine. So to do that, we're going to go to File, click on New Virtual Machine, and then we're going to select Typical. You can choose Custom if you'd like, but Typical is just easier. Select your ISO image file, click Next, name your VM. Next, configure your virtual hard disk, then click Next, and then customize hardware. Now the reason we're going to customize hardware is because we need to add a floppy drive for the boot disk. So now we're going to click Add, we're going to click floppy drive, Finish, and then we're going to click Use floppy image file. So then we're going to click Browse. We're going to find our image file. For me, mine's on my desktop. I'm going to click Close, and then we're going to click Finish. And now it's going to power on the machine and boot to the boot disk. For some reason, this ISO image is not bootable. And I don't entirely understand why, because both the 98 and 95 disks that I have are bootable. Okay, so now it's booting. Go ahead and click OK. And then select Boot with CD-ROM support. At this point, it's going to load any drivers or packages it needs to either recover Windows Me installation or install it, which will take just a second. Okay, and then now we're going to go to fdisk, oops, and then we're going to configure our partitions. So we're just going to create a primary DOS partition. You can choose a secondary if you have a separate installation on another partition or something like that. And then select yes for making the partition active and using the maximum available size. Then we're going to press escape and we're going to reboot using the Control-Alt-Insert buttons. Start with CD-ROM support. Loading all the drivers again. And then we're going to type in format C:yes. Now it's formatting the hard drive, getting it ready to be used with whatever files you may have on it. And then it's going to calculate free space. This may take just a second here. And then we're going to type a volume label. So mine's just going to be WinMe because, gotta be simple. Then we're going to go to our CD drive, which for me is E:, and we're going to go to Setup. Then we're going to press Enter, so it's going to check the virtual hard disk, which shouldn't have any errors. And then it's going to check free space, surface scan, all that stuff. And then we're going to need to exit, and then it's going to copy files. And then during the next portion of the setup, it will copy the rest of the files. Alright, now it says welcome to Windows Me setup. I kind of find it funny that it says congratulations on choosing Windows Me because of the amount of BSODs that this operating system has. This operating system is a piece of junk, as most people know, where even if you remove a CD at the wrong time, it's going to BSOD on you, and it's kind of stupid, So yeah, don't know what that's about. Kind of weird to me, but I guess it's because it was the only thing out at the time. Product key, which is already there, and then I'm going to select the installation folder I want to put it into, and then it's going to check whether anything's installed, and it's also going to check the available disk space so it knows there's enough for Windows Me. And and then we're going to select our installation. I'm going to select custom. Then we're going to type our name and company if you have one. So Longhorn wants to learn BetaHunters. Assuming I spelled that right. Let me double check. Yeah. Okay. Then we're going to select any components that we want to add that aren't already there. And as we can see, these are already all selected for us. Then click next. And then name your VM. So WinMe-VM1. Next. English, United States, US 101. And then select your time zone. Mine's Eastern. And then it's going to make it look like it's creating a startup disk, but don't worry, it's not. And it's not ruining your boot disk, I promise. If you don't want to do this, then click cancel, and then just click OK. If you did want to do it, you would need to put in a blank floppy, and then obviously click the OK button. So now it's ready to begin copying files. This is one of the longer portions of the Windows Me setup, other than like installing devices and stuff, which isn't as bad, so, you know. While it's doing this, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and I will be right back. Okay, so it's finished installing, and it's now rebooting. I gotta press the escape button and use the boot menu to get to the hard drive because I don't have it configured correctly, so, you know. Anyways, so now it's going to update files and then go to the GUI portion of the setup where it will install plug-and-play drivers and basically all the drivers that are needed for this installation of Windows Me. So that'll take just a second. I'll be right back while it's doing that. Okay, now it's detecting non-plug-and-play hardware. Usually takes a little bit. Sometimes it gets stuck. Like, I've had it get stuck at like 99% before, which is like really stupid and annoying. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen again. Every once in a while it does, and I don't think it will this time because this is the first time I've done it in quite a while. But like, it's like very hit or miss. So, you know. So it's about at 48% right now, which is actually quite a bit faster than any computer of that time period. Which is okay. 3/4. 3/4. Let's see if we can get all the way done without any problems. I'm really hoping. The nice thing is, and I didn't realize this until now, but it specifically says if the indicator stops for a long time, like if your hard drive indicator down here, for example, stops and there's no disk activity, then it says to restart your computer, and I never realized that until now. Because the last time I tried recording this, because the last time I did it, apparently, I did the wrong resolution or whatever, but anyways, that's beside the point. But the last time I did this, it like stopped responding when it was installing components and stuff. So I had to reboot it, and it actually worked, which surprised me because most OSs don't do that. Okay, so now it's rebooting, and it's going to finish operating system configuration and all of that kind of stuff. Just keep in mind you might have to press Ctrl-Alt-Insert to reboot it. Okay, now it's booting into the operating system again. And it says about 11 minutes. It's just going to continue installing drivers and such. It basically rebooted to finish installing some of the drivers. So, okay, now it's going to configure the operating system with things such as control panel items, programs in the start menu, etc., etc. So, and then it's going to install and configure components, specific components, especially the ones that I added. So, which hopefully this doesn't take as long as it did last time, because last time I had to wait about 30 minutes, so about a half an hour or so, which was not cool. That kind of annoyed me, made me mad, but, you know, anyways. So, hopefully that doesn't happen again. I'm going to take a little break while it is working on that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so it has finally finished configuring the system. So now we're going to reboot, and we should be able to boot right up into the operating system. It will say, it'll have its little drum going and say updating settings a couple of times, but otherwise it should work perfectly. And once we get into the operating system, we are going to have to install VMware tools so we can have our SVGA, sound, and other miscellaneous drivers. So, but otherwise, we're like really close to being done, which makes me really happy because it's just the third time I've done this. So, oh, let's see. Now I gotta make a password. Okay. So, this is gonna take just a second here. It's almost booted into the desktop. And hopefully it doesn't crash or anything, because this is kind of known for that, but it should say updating settings a couple of times before it actually logs in. Yeah, updating system settings. So, and that means it's finishing with drivers and such. So, usually takes 30 seconds to a minute. We may finally be logging in. That makes me really happy. Okay, so we're gonna go to VM, install VMware tools. Yes, let's hope it doesn't blue screen for whatever reason, because sometimes it does that. So I mean, that's a problem. Okay. Next, I'm gonna go complete because I use multiple VMware products, so kind of keeps it compatible. And then now it's going to install drivers such as SVGA and all that other stuff. So, no. Finish. And restart. Okay, now I gotta boot from the hard drive again. So hard drive. There's that beautiful boot string that we all hate so much. And apparently there was an improper shutdown somehow. I don't think I did that on purpose. Okay. Darn it. Now, I don't think it's going to auto-adjust, because it just gave me an error that said virtual machine layout could not be changed, etc., etc. So, that's complete. If you'd like to, you can change the screen resolution to like 1280 by 960. That should be better anyways, like you can see here. And then, of course, I'm going to choose a desktop background just because I can. And there we go. We've officially installed Windows Millennium Edition. If you liked this video, click the like button. If you disliked it, that button works too. And then subscribe and donate on our Patreon if you'd like to. And then that's pretty much the end. So we'll see you in the next one. Take care.